Hello my fellow working class heroes, good day. I am Carlo and welcome to Carlo Excels. These are the objectives of this episode. Today we're gonna talk about the functions that can convert text data into value data. The most basic of them are the value, date value, and time value functions. We're gonna talk about their definition, their uses, and their various applications. Out of the three functions that we're gonna talk about for this lesson, the most basic of them is the value function. From Microsoft Excel's own help document, the value function converts a text string that represents a number to a number. For the value function, the function name is value, and the function arguments, we only have one, and that is text. On the screen right now, we have a sample sheet wherein you have here a ones digit, then you have here a tens digit, and then you have here a hundreds digit. So of course, you can perform already mental math in this case. If the hundreds digit is 3 and the tens digit is 2 and the ones digit is 1, then you have a number that will become 321. So mathematically, how are you able to achieve this? This is what you do, right? This is what you do. You get this digit over here and then you multiply this by 100. So 3 times 100 in this case, let's put a parenthesis. 3 times 100, and then you add this times 10, like so, and then you add this as the ones digit. So with this formula, you can have 321. So if you've been with us during the lesson on combining text, you will know that instead of calculating if this is your hundreds digit and your tens digit and your ones digit, you can simply combine the text together. In other words, you use the ampersand for it. So you put in the equal sign, and then you have here this cell over here, ampersand this cell, ampersand this cell, and when you press enter, you still get the result of 3 to 1. However, if in case you didn't know this, when you combine text together, the result is text. It's not necessarily a value. During the introduction, some of the introduction lessons of this channel, you will know, of course, that there are two kinds of data in Microsoft Excel. There is value data and there is text data. Value data is data that you can use for calculation, and text data is data that you cannot use for calculations. In this case, by simply concatenating concatenating text, you are creating something that looks like 321, but in essence, that is only text and it cannot be used for calculation. This can be seen, for example, if you try using a logical operator to check. So let's try using the equals logical operator. So you have here equal sign and then this cell over here. Now you're trying to ask Microsoft Excel, is this cell equal to the value 321? And you will see that Microsoft Excel returns the true value. So in other words, Microsoft Excel checks that this cell is indeed equal to 221. But if you perform it here, if you try to check, is this value equal to 321? If you press enter, you will get a false. That is because this cell here, even though it looks like 321, is text data. It is not value data, and therefore Microsoft Excel does not look at it as a number. It is simply text. There are many cases wherein you create numbers that look like numbers or look like values but are actually text data. It happens, for example, when you use some of the text functions, such as when you use the left, the right, the mid, or the len functions together, or when you perform text to columns. In some cases, the numbers you create are not value data but rather text data. So in those cases, if you have text data that look like value data, the proper way to convert them into real value data is by using the value function. Now, just like what we mentioned in our definition a while ago, to use the value function, all you have to do is to call out the value function name, like so, value, and then it's looking for the argument text. So the text that we're looking for here is this. The combined text, or in other words, the concatenated text of the 100 digits, the tens digit, and the ones digit. And we enclose them in the parentheses. So it's looking for text data. So what you're telling Microsoft Excel is, you concatenate these three cells, C2, B2, and A2, and then you convert them into value data. And when you press enter, the 321 you now see here is true value. And in fact, it is now proven by the logical check right below it. So equals C7 is equal to 321. So in other words, by using the value function, you have now converted this text data into true value data. Truth be told, there aren't many instances, especially for teachers, there aren't many instances wherein you use the value function. There are certain situations wherein value data must be converted to text data. Take for example, during the situations wherein the Department of Education asks you, or rather forces us, to convert honors general averages to 3 decimal places. In some of those cases, you may have to convert value data into text data. And you may have to convert text data into value data again for further calculation. That is how the value function is going to be handy for later lessons. Please note, however, that unfortunately, the value function does not convert values into words into actual numbers. Take for example, if you look at the screen, I'm gonna type here in this cell 10 in words. If we try to use the value function for this cell here, you will get a value error. That is because, again, the value function can only convert text that look like values, but it cannot convert text. It cannot convert numbers that are words. Next up, let's look at the date value function. The date value function converts a date that is stored as text to a serial number that Excel recognizes as a date. For the date value function, the function name is date value, and the function arguments, you only have one, and that is text. On the screen right now, we have here a direction for you to enter month, and then enter a day, and then enter a year. So after I click on the cell, you will notice that through data validation, we create a list of choices. So we click on this small arrow here, and then let's choose a month. Say for example, let's choose January, and then let's enter the date of January 15, and then let's enter a year of 2021. So if we already have the month and then the day and the year, through concatenation or through combining of text, we can simply do the following. So let's put equal sign, and then let's click on the month here, and then ampersand, let's put a space, another ampersand, and then let's put in the day, and then ampersand, and then let's put a comma after the day, of course, another space, and then another ampersand, and then of course the year. And the result will be January 15, 2021, which is the combined date of the month, the day, and the year. Now, even if this cell here looks like a proper date, which is January 15, 2021, as far as Excel is concerned, it is still text data. Again, it is still text data because it is simply combined text using the ampersand of these three cells. It is not proper date values. So how do we know, or how can we prove that it is not proper date value? Well, let's try formatting it. So we right click it and we put in format cells, and let's try a date. Let's try changing the formatting. So instead of having the full name of the month and then the day and then the year, let's try having it something like this, 314 to the 31401, and then press OK. You will notice that it does not change. Why? Because it is not proper date. It is not a proper date. It is not value data. It is simply text that looks like a date. So how do we convert text that looks like a date into a proper date as far as value is concerned, into a proper date value? Well, we use the date value function. So to call out the date value function, so once again, we put in here the function name, which is date value, like so, and then we simply select the text that looks like a date, like so, and then press enter. And then what we get here is the date serial number. Well, of course, some of you are already thinking, wait a minute, 44,211 is not date. That doesn't look like a date at all. Well, as far as Microsoft Excel is concerned, it is actual date value. This is the serial number of the date of January 15, 2021. And to understand this, let me first explain the way that Microsoft Excel stores date data. This is something that's very handy to know. Microsoft Excel stores dates as serial numbers. The starting date is the serial number of 1. which is January 1, 1900 or 1900. It then counts one serial number for every day after January 1, 1900. I'm going to demonstrate this by showing you how serial numbers work. So let's try here. Let's put in a serial number of 1 in this side and then 1 on the other side. Let's put in 2 here and then 2 here. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. Like so. So all of this data here is currently stored in the general format. In fact, we can right click here and then format cells. All of this is stored, as you can see in the screen, in the general format. What happens then if I take this column here? I'm gonna, extend all the way down there. If I take this column here and I instead display it in a date format. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna go with the complete date like so and press OK. You will notice that because we converted it into date format, 1 is now considered as January 1, 1900. 2 is now considered as January 2, 1900. 3 is January 3, 1900. 4 is January 4, etc. In fact, if we have the serial number 32 and we put another 32 here, it is now displayed as February 1, 1900. This is in fact how Microsoft Excel stores date data. It stores them as whole numbers. The bigger the whole number, the later the date. So let's try a few tests here. Let's say, for example, the serial number is 10,000. And then let's put here 10,000 on the other cell. And this is formatted as date. And you have here May 18, 1927. What does this mean? What this means is May 18, 1927 is the 10,000th date. Is the 10,000th day rather after January 1, 1900. And what about, for example, the day of 20,000 like so? So let's input 20,000 on the other side like this. We press enter. You get the day October 3, 1954. What this means is October 3, 1954 is in fact the 20,000th day after January 1, 1900. A few things to note here. Microsoft Excel's minimum date is January 1, 1900. There is no December 31, 1899. Microsoft Excel does not deal again with any date below January 1, 1900. And the maximum date that Microsoft Excel can provide for now is December 31, year 9999. And so going back to this sheet here, after applying the date value function to this text data here, you get the day serial number. And for you to convert this into a proper date, something that actually looks like a date, all you have to do is to format it as a date. So right click that, select format cells, and then format it as a date. Let's say, for example, we get this here, 031401, and you get the proper date format for this date over here, which is January 15, 2021. Now, I mentioned this long ago. This is what I mean when I say that Microsoft Excel can in fact calculate dates. It can add dates, it can subtract dates. You can take, by subtracting dates in Microsoft Excel is actually one of the easiest ways to calculate birthdays in Microsoft Excel. Calculating dates is a topic in the future in this channel. So once again, please subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss that lesson when it comes. So what kind of date text formats are supported by the date value function? So you have here the following date formats. For those who are viewing from their computer or even from their cell phone, you may want to take a screenshot of this particular screen so that you have a guide as to the kind of date text format supported by the date value function. So you have here the months, MMDD, day is D, slash 4 digits for the year, YYYY. So you also have year slash month slash day, or you can have just the month slash the day. Or you can also have not the slash, but rather a dash. So you have a month dash day dash year, or year dash month dash day, or even just month dash day. So let's try that. You have here on this column sample text. These are text data over here, and they follow the format that we presented in our sample list a while ago. So you have here, all of the dates are November 14, 2019. So in this case, you have 11/14/2019, which follows the MMDDYY format. Then you also have the YYMMDD format, followed by this one here, 2019 1114, then you have the MMDD format 1114. So for these three rows here, you have dashes instead of slashes. So let's try the date value function for all of these. So let's try the date value function for them. Let's call out the function name date value, like so, and then select this text here. Press enter, so you have a serial number of 43,783. In other words, November 14, 2019 is 43,783rd day after January 1, 1900. So let's copy this function here. Let's paste it there. Same thing. Let's paste it there. Paste, paste, paste. And you have that. So to convert, once again, these date serial numbers into proper days, all you have to do is highlight them, format the cells, and then convert them to a proper date. Let's use the full date format here. I want to see the full month, the day, and the year, and let's press OK. Some of you may have noticed already that there's something, there are two cells here that are different. In these cases, you have here November 14, 2019, but in these two cases, you have here November 14, 2022. And why is that? The reason why it says here November 14, 2022 is because when you set the date format November 14 and then you didn't specify the year, Microsoft Excel assumes this year. This video is being recorded in 2022. So what Microsoft Excel did was it scanned my computer settings and found out that today is in the year 2022. So it's using this current year. That is what happens again when you do not specify a year. Microsoft Excel assumes this year. So that is why it says here November 14, 2022. For all of the other entries, because there is a specified year, Microsoft Excel is using that year. Here are some other date text formats supported by the date value function in Microsoft Excel. So once again, you may want to take a screenshot of this screen so that you may have a guide later on. So you have here the following. So date, the day slash the short month slash the year. Or you can have not a slash but a dash. Or you can have a space like so. Or you can have here the short month, space, and the day, and then you have a comma and then the year. Then you have a short month and the day without the year. Then you have day dash short month. So again, short month dash day or day dash short month, or you have the short month slash day or day slash short month, or short month space day or the day space short month. As far as the short month is concerned, you have the following. So Jan, Feb, Mar, April, May, June, Jul, Aug, Sept, Oct, Nov, and Des. So you have here samples of the date formats that we showed a while ago. So you have here day short month, the samples that we showed a while ago. And all of them are pointing to November 14. So let's use the date value function for these. Date value for these text data here. So you see a return of the serial number. Again, 43,783. Let's copy paste all of that there. And you have the following result. Once again, to convert this into proper looking dates, so you have format cells and then you have the date. Once again, let's use the complete day, November 14, 2021, like so, 2019 rather, and you have that result. Just like what was explained a while ago, you will notice that these cells here say 2022 instead of saying 2019. Once again, that is because you did not specify a day when you you did not specify a year rather when you put in the date as text data. So there is no year in this text data right here. So Microsoft Excel assumes that this is for the current year. And the current year right now, as I'm recording this video, is 2022. Now, the date value function does not only accept short months. It of course also accepts long months. So you have here the exact same entries as the short months a while ago, but instead of short months, you have here now long months. So day slash long month slash year, or dash or space, or you have here a long month space, the day, comma, the year, or just long month day, day long month, using the dash, the slash, and the space. As far as the long months are concerned, you have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. In other words, the months spelled out completely. So once again, we have here samples of the formats that you've seen just now. So you have long months here as text data. So let's try the date value function on these, like so. And then you get the following serial numbers. Let me center that. The following serial numbers. So let's copy the formula and paste it all the way down. So you have here the serial numbers. And once again, let's format this into proper dates. Let's use the complete date, like so. Then you have here November 14, 2019. And once again, for the cells wherein you did not specify a year, Microsoft Excel assumes the current year. So what is the most practical application of the date value function? This is my suggestion. If ever you are creating a Microsoft Excel sheet that is meant for other people and you want these people to enter a date, instead of asking them to enter a date manually, and of course, if you ask them to enter a date manually, a lot of them will enter dates based on their own format of choice. Some of them will use the complete spelling, the complete month and day and year. Some of them will have day/month/year. Some of them will have month/day/year. Some of them will have year-day-month. Many different kinds of formats. And what's most concerning is some of them may even misspell their dates. For example, September may be misspelled, November may be misspelled, and it will create such a problem for you when you consolidate the data. That is why I suggest the best way to ask for data is to in fact use data validation, like what you can see here. Use data validation to separately ask for a month, ask for a day, and then ask for a year. And then concatenate these entries just like what I did here, and then use the date value function to convert the concatenated text into a proper date value. Next, we have the time value function. The time value function converts a time that is stored as text to a serial number that Excel recognizes as a time. For the time value function, the function name is time value, and for the function argument, you only have one. It is still text. On the screen right now, you see here boxes wherein we're instructed to enter hours, minutes, and meridian. So let's try that. So let's say, for example, we want to enter a time of 12:31 p.m. So let's try that. So enter hours. We have here a data validation list box. So let's put in here 12 as hours. And then for minutes, let's put in here 31, like so. And then for the meridian, let's put in here PM. So 12:31 p.m. So now that we have the data on the hours, the minutes, and the meridian, we can use concatenation, of course, to convert this into something that looks like a time. So of course, what we do is equal sign, and then you have this data here, and then ampersand, and then you put, of course, a colon between that, and then ampersand the minutes, and then space between that, and then another ampersand, and then of course the meridian, so that when you press enter, it looks like what we commonly know as a time. So you have here 12:31 p.m. So if you've been following our discussion from a while ago, actually, just like with dates that have been concatenated, even though this looks like a proper time, this is actually still a date. This is not a time value. This is actually text data. In fact, I can prove this by doing format cells and then trying to change the time format. If I try to change a time format, for example, into a military time, like so, it does not change. That is because Microsoft Excel does not recognize this as proper time value. This is just text that looks like time. So to properly convert this text that looks like a time to proper time value, we use the time value function. So let's try here, time value, and then select this text here as the argument, press enter, and then you have here this decimal number. Now, of course, some of you are wondering, this is not time value, this is a decimal number. Where's my time? So actually, that is exactly how Microsoft Excel stores time data, and it has something to do with time serial numbers. How exactly does Microsoft Excel store time value? Microsoft Excel stores time as serial numbers. These serial numbers are fractions or decimals, where the value of 1 over 86,400 is equal to 1 second. So for Microsoft Excel, the value of 1 over 24 is how it stores 1 hour. 1 over 1,440 is how it stores 1 minute, and 1 over 86,400 is how it stores 1 second. So let's demonstrate what we mentioned a while ago. So let's try here 1 over 24, like so. And then let's put on the other side 1 divided by 24, right? And then let's try here 1 over 1,440, just like what was mentioned a while ago. And same with this case, 1 over 1,440. For the last one, let's try here 1 over 86,400. And in this case, let's try also 1 over 86,400. It's now turning into scientific notation, so let's try converting that into proper decimal. So let's try a few decimal places, like 9 decimal places, so we can see how Microsoft Excel treats 1 over 86,400. So if you were following our discussion on date value and date serial numbers, remember, 1 day is equal to 1. However, Microsoft Excel stores any data that is less than 1 day as time value. Well, naturally, because if 1 is 1 day, therefore, 1 over 24 is equal to 1 hour because there are 24 hours in a day. Or 1 over 1,440 is equal to 1 minute because there are 1,440 minutes in 1 day. If 1 is a day, then anything less than a day is, of course, hours or minutes or seconds. So we can prove this by changing these decimal numbers here into a time format. So let's select these and let's right click on them and then format cells, and then let's select time. Let's select a time that is complete, like this, for example, and press enter. So you will see here that 1 over 24 is 1 hour, and then 1 over 1,440 is 1 minute, and 1 over 86,400 is 1 second as far as Microsoft Excel is concerned. In fact, you can see here, let's say half of a day, or let's say a quarter of a day. So let's try it on the other side, half of a day and then quarter of a day. And then let's try to convert all of these into time format with a meridian. Let's say, for example, here, this. So we'll see here, this is 1 a.m. This is 12:01 a.m. because that's 12 a.m., the start of the day, plus 1 minute. And then you have the start of the day plus 1 second. Half of a day is exactly 12 o'clock p.m. and 1/4 of a day is 6 o'clock a.m. So going back to this example here, 0.521527778 is how Microsoft Excel stores 12:31 p.m. And we can prove that, of course, by right-clicking on that, clicking on Format Cells, and then picking a proper time format. Let's try this time format here. And when we press enter, you will see here 12:31 p.m. In fact, we can change this and then change this to maybe a military time format. It's still 12:31. Now, on the screen right now are the following time text formats supported by the time value function. So first of all, we can have just the you can just have the hour and then followed by the meridian, so hour and then AM, PM, or you can have hours and then minutes. In this case, we consider this as military time, so hours and then minutes, and then you can also have hours and then minutes with the meridian, and then you have hours, minutes, seconds, or in this case, this will be the military time, or you can have hours, minutes, seconds with the corresponding meridian. What you see on the screen right now, on the first column are the time formats that we saw a while ago, and then you have sample text data. This is text data and not yet proper time value data. So this is text data that use the formats on the left. So you have your 11 p.m. This is 23:24 or this is 11:24 p.m. just like here. And this is 23:24 p.m. and 5 seconds. Sorry, 23:24 and 5 seconds or 11:24 and 5 seconds. So let's use a time value here. Time value. And then let's select this text here. And the serial number is 0.958333. Copy paste this downward and you have the following time values. So let's right click there, format cells, and then put in here time. Let's use military time for all of them over here, and you will see their military time counterparts. So here you have text that looks like time, and you have here proper time data. Oops, I only just noticed it says here date value. This is supposed to be time value, like so. So what is the proper application of using the time value? Just like what I recommended when I was discussing the application of date value, if you're asking for time from other people, if you are creating a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and this Microsoft Excel spreadsheet requires other people to input time, I suggest that instead of asking them to put a time, and that will be very messy because many people will input time according to their own convenience. Some will put 12 p.m. And for example, some will put 12 p.m. Some will have 12 space p.m. Some will have 12 p.m. Then some will say 12 in the afternoon, or some will even have 12 noon, like this. Instead of asking them to fill in time in their own formats, why don't you try to use data validation to have them input hours and minutes and meridian, or even seconds if you want to, separately. Using the hours, the minutes, the second, and the meridian, you can then ask Microsoft Excel to concatenate the data, and from the concatenated data, you can find the proper time value using the time value function. So that's it for our lesson on the text to value functions. In other words, the value function, the date value function, and the time value function. Once again, I am Carlo, and this is Carlo Excels. Thank you very much for watching.